So I have a Goodman furnace and I've just already taken everything apart. So I'm going to do this video in reverse order, but I had water leaking out of the bottom of my furnace. And you can see the buildup of water that was coming from here. And the condensate was just sort of dripping out that lower corner here by the heat exchanger. So I've taken the components off. But basically what you want to do is just start stripping off the, I think that's the venter motor and this plastic cover, and you will see that it's quite wet behind here. So just remove that plastic cover. So what's happening is the condensate is just getting past that rubber seal. That rubber seal breaks down, so you can see all the condensation. The condensation is supposed to build up and go through that vent hole there. So I'm just basically going to put some high heat silicone around that bead, reattach everything, and that should be good. So make sure you get this dry, make sure you have your furnace off, and I'll sort of video at each point where I'm putting it back together. So you can just kind of think of this video in reverse order. So here's what I've done. I've got this high temperature silicone sealant. I put a very light bead around this plastic cover, and then I put a fairly generous bead around the perimeter of where that's going to sit. So you're going to start putting the screws back on of this plastic cover, and you see here when you squeeze it, all that silicone comes squishing out, so that's kind of ideal. So I'll go ahead and do that and then show you the next step. Okay, there you go. I have the thing tightened up, as you can see. All is good. Now I'm just going to put everything kind of back together here, and just going to put this this piece that's part of the venting. It's part of the venting and the draining. So you're going to just pop that back on, reconnect the hoses. So here's the venter motor, and I'm going to be reattaching that. You see I just put a bead of silicone around there so that I get a nice seal in there. You can see that. Rubber washer is a bit degrading, so I'm just going to get a nice seal there. There's the vent tubes all connected back up, hose clamps. Okay, I've got this back together. I've got the venter motor connected. I made sure to reconnect the ground wire. Good practice just to kind of label everything. So I think this is a pressure switch here. So I just sort of taped it 1 to 1. This is just a little foam piece that kind of goes over there. So just make sure you get everything back up and tight. Now I'm going to reinsert the screws. So here we go. 1, 2 screws, 3 screws, 4 screws, and everything's back in place. I'm just going to reconnect the wires to that motor, and then I will put the covers back on. So there's my cover. And what I'll do, I'll give it a little bit of time for the silicone to set up before I turn my furnace back on, but eventually I will get the breaker going. And then what I'll do is I'll take a video in a day or two to finish off this before I post it, and just to let you know if my water leak has been corrected. So hopefully I don't see any more water dripping out of this lower corner here, and that's where it was coming from. So back at you. So here we are about 48 hours later. You see here I put a paper towel inside and it's completely dry. So the leak has been taken care of. So good luck with your project if you have the same issue.